now traded away. He goes to the Wizards. He's no longer a Maverick. How does this Luka trade look now, SA?
It looks like arguably the worst trade in history. And I understand that, you know what, this is separate and apart from the Luka Anthony Davis deal, which I heard Wendy explaining earlier this morning, and he's right. But in the end, the Dallas Mavericks are very, very fortunate that they lucked up and got Cooper Flagg, because this brother's spectacular and he's going to be a superstar in this league for years to come. But you have to look at stuff in real time. Cooper Flagg, the ping pong balls that enabled you to get Cooper Flagg, that was after the trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have to judge the trade on his face. You did that before you knew you were going to get Cooper Flagg. And you traded Luka Doncic, a 25-year-old global iconic basketball superstar, for a guy in Anthony Davis that has been relatively injury prone. We all know that Anthony Davis is good for 28 and 12 a night when he's healthy. He got that kind of game. The problem is that his availability has religiously been a question mark. And not only that, he didn't necessarily have box office appeal. So it's bad enough that Luka was a star in terms of on the basketball court, but he was somebody you walked through the turnstiles to see. And to let go of that for Anthony Davis, that's why Nico Harrison doesn't have a job right now. And it was so incredulous to so many people. You finally looked at it, and you looked at Patrick Dumont, the governor for the Dallas Mavericks, the owner, and you found yourself saying he had to force this. There's no way on earth that this could have been Nico's idea. Nico worked with Michael Jordan. He worked with Kobe Bryant. The brothers are marketing whiz, knows basketball. There's no way he could have made this decision, let alone he's the one that's gotten let go. And so you look at it now, and you look at the way Luka is playing in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform, what he means to the future of the Los Angeles Lakers and to the future of basketball. And Anthony Davis, once again, missing more games than he's playing, owed $58 million. All right, and then a player option for $62 million. Now, my math ain't that great, but last time I checked, I mean, damn, that's over $150 million that this brother's owed, and he ain't available. So to me, and then to cap it off, you are a Washington Wizard. Now, we all know that there's enough about the nation's capital to complain about. But damn, that ain't even bringing up the Wizards. And now you're on the Wizards. And that's where Anthony Davis, after all of this, Anthony Davis is a Washington Wizard? I mean, my God, this is just bad on all fronts. Dallas is lucked up because they got Cooper Flagg with the #1 overall pick. That's the only reason that you haven't seen people out there protesting for the new owner to get the hell up out of town. It's the only reason you haven't seen that in Dallas.
That's a lot.
Wendy, what do you think? How does this Davis trade yesterday make this whole thing look?
So the Mavericks' last 365 days are one of the more fascinating sagas that I've seen in my 2+ decades covering the league. Not just because of the Cooper Flagg part of it, which they get a potentially generational player on the heels of trading one away, but also because Kyrie Irving got hurt. This is the act that nobody seems to ever count in it. When they made that trade, they were thinking Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis together, and they both got hurt within basically minutes of the deal happening. And nobody could have foreseen Kyrie's injury. Certainly, you could have figured AD is going to miss some games, but that is a big part of it. If Kyrie doesn't get hurt, Cooper Flagg also isn't a Maverick because they're going to win way more games and they're not going to be in that lottery position. So part of what you have to evaluate is the misfortune of that injury. Having said that, I agree with Stephen A. You can't look at this Anthony Davis trade and attach it to the Luka trade. It's easy to do in a graphic, and it's easy to say, well, this is what they got for Luka, and this is what they sent out with AD. But the truth is that they're completely different, and the Kyrie injury is a major factor.
So I'm glad that we're here because the last couple of days I've really been thinking, and I know this is kind of the antithesis of what you guys just said, but I've really been wondering the long term. Like, will we ultimately look back at this and say, man, that was a terrible trade, but they weren't, to Wendy's point, they wouldn't have had Cooper, right? And so the trade on his face will go down as one of the worst in sports history, period. But if you're Dallas, things did bounce your way afterward, right? And so here you are. So is this more Nico Harrison is not in his role anymore. AD has had a history, unfortunately, of injuries. So what will be the ultimate takeaway is kind of where I'm sitting. Because you get Cooper, though. Like, you got Cooper.
You do. And I hear what you're saying, Wendy, in terms of, like, not connecting the trades,
Right.
Ron. But, like, at the end of the day, the big swap, right, was
Right.
Luka Doncic and AD. And AD, almost 1 year to the day, is now on a different team. It's hard not to sit here and say, like, okay,
And it
the
was a
little
smart move.
details. What was a smart move?
But to go to the
AD.
Wizards, that trade?
To send him, of
Trading
course
AD.
it was, to
Yeah.
send him away.
Yeah.
But it's hard not to sit here and be like, what a joke. What a
Listen,
joke that you have like 5 draft capitals now to show for.
Here's the reality. I understand you ended up with Cooper Flag. But remember, it's not like it's the NFL and you're a team that sucks and you're awful, and as a result, you're automatically gifted the #1 overall pick. The ping pong balls going their way. They didn't know that was going to happen.
I agree.
So
I
I'm
got
saying, I'm not giving them any credit for that. You lucked up. The ping pong ball. I'm going to give you credit for ping pong ball.
No, I get it.
I'm not going to do that.
I get it.
But when you look at Anthony Davis, he's played 29 games. He missed 51. They're 31-49 since he arrived in town. It's not good. And listen, Anthony Davis is an all-world player when healthy. He needs to understand, I'm glad you got your money, bro, because you will forever be attached to and synonymous
With this trade.
being the guy
Yes.
that was traded for the Lakers. Not that Luka Doncic didn't just
Probably
go away
true.
from Dallas.
He
Went to the Lakers.
I get
He
it.
went, and so you would think that Anthony Davis. Remember that first game he played in the Dallas Mavericks uniform, y'all.
Yeah.
He was busting everybody's living. You know what? In the first half, and he was like,
Yeah.
"I'm here. I'm here. This is my city now." And then got hurt in the
Yeah.
second half,
Yeah.
and then and has nosedived from there. Meanwhile, Luka is a top 2, top 3 MVP candidate, averaging over 30. The Lakers are 10 games above 500. They're top 5, top 6 seed in the Western Conference, and he's balling, and he's the younger global iconic brand. It literally has enticed people to say, there should be some real investigation. We're going to do a 30
Well, don't even bring up Jalen
documentary or
Brunson.
something
Child.
on how to, and Jalen Brunson too. But that was Mark Cuban. That wasn't Mark. But I'm just looking at it. I'm just saying,
Even
there's got to
still.
be an investigation as to why the hell
On
that
its
happened.
face, I 100% agree with y'all. But I think when we have a bigger conversation,
Sure.
one day we'll look and be like, oh, but Cooper Flag came out of that.
Right?
Sure.
And we'll also be looking at Anthony Davis.
We're looking at that
will
like that
forever be-
today.
He
Monica.
won't even, his name
Thank you,
won't matter
Wendy.
anymore.
Thank you, Wendy.
His name won't even matter much longer.
We will, but the Mavs have to start winning because of Cooper
They're not-
Flag, which they will.
Not this year. Yeah, I
Not
got
this
you.
year,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they
I got you.
will. But right now that the dust has settled a year later, we're still looking at this whole thing sideways.
Yeah.
Coming up on First Take, will the Seahawks rout the Pats, or will New England actually win the Super Bowl? We have a lot more to say on which outcome is more likely. We are live from San Francisco, getting ready for Super Bowl 60. There you see the First Take football sitting pretty on the Bay Area. More First